The streets of Los Angeles has always been controlled by one dominant faction, flexing its power and controlling every Latino gang in the proximity. LAM, the Mexican Mafia, owns these streets. Within these ruthless men of power is a man by the name of Francisco Pupper Martinez, alleged Mafia member and leader of the 18SD gang, who is currently serving a life sentence in federal prison, for multiple charges, including murder. Puppet had full control of the MacArthur Park area of Los Angeles, a place that's known for its heavy drug and gang activity. Anybody working these streets, whether selling fruit on the street corner to selling drugs, any illegal revenue that was generated was subject to a tax implemented by the mafia leader. Reports indicate that Puppet allegedly has made millions of dollars all from behind bars. Reports also indicate that Puppet from behind bars was the mastermind behind a drug-related hit. Puppet would order the murder of a man named Truco, a suspected rival, poaching on the mobster's territory. The man that was chosen to do this job was a up-and-coming 18th Streeter by the name of Termite, a striving member of the Columbia Lil Psychos clique at 18th Street. Like a soldier ready for war, Termite immediately began to plot his attack on Truco and eventually would ambush him in a dark small Westlake alley with AK-47s. For carrying out this specific order for Puppet, Termite was personally selected by the mobster to become the shot caller of the Columbia Lil Psychos. That is an example of just how close Puppet was connected to the gang. Within time, allegations would arise against Termite indicating him working with authorities, so Puppet put the green light on Termite. Despite them being business partners and masking large sums of money, Termite would be shot 5 times by his fellow homeboys of the 18th Street gang. Astonishingly, he managed to survive the attack and would go on to work with authorities. Termite was broken emotionally, for feeling being betrayed by his leader, who he felt went above and beyond for and put his own life in jeopardy numerous times for. Authorities also managed to confiscate letters from Puppet written in Spanish targeting Termite. After the failed mission, 6 days later, on a prison phone that was being tapped, recorded Puppet and his wife Janie talking about the hit, explaining how the house needed to be fumigated again. His wife Janie, also known as the Lady Boss LA Haitha the Black Widow, is no stranger to violence. In fact, she herself had a lot of power because of her mobster husband. In one scenario, a fellow 18th Street gang member made a payment to her of $10,000 with $1 bills. This one gesture was interpreted as disrespect, to the point where the gang member was shot and killed by his fellow gang members inside of a pool hall. Janie Garcia would eventually be detained and taken into custody for her participation in the gang activity. Authorities confiscated over $400,000. Multiple business and houses that were all funded by illegal activity. Janie Garcia would go on to be indicted for her role in these crimes. Making money seems to be the main objective, taxing everybody. One person WHO denied to pay the tax was shot 5 times by local 18th Street gang members. Unfortunately, during this shooting, the gang members would miss and hit a little girl who would succumb to her injuries and died as of a result. Puppet ordered that they take the shooter to Mexico. They took him to a distinct isolated location and proceeded to strangle him to death. The other gang members WHO participated in the crimes were eventually charged for their participation in the murder. In another astonishing case, a lawyer by the name of Isaac Guillen was convicted and sentenced to 7 years behind bars for working for Puppet. The lawyer pled guilty to racketeering and money laundering. The lawyer allegedly had grown up in a neighborhood barrio, and could somehow relate to some of these gang members or mobsters. At one point there was a hit put out on Isaac, and Puppet managed to use his influence to stop the hit from taking place. He made almost $200,000 working for the mobster. He would go on to be indicted and lost his career. It seems anybody associated with the mob and this gang goes up in flames, as another mobster named Knight OWL has control of other 18th Street gangs such as Shadow Park Locos and Hoover SD Locos. While enjoying the luxury of this power comes with the expense of serving the rest of your life behind bars.